Serious and silliness bodybuilding. Like, share, subscribe. Tell all your friends about this great new bodybuilding podcast. New. It's about a year and a half old now. But yesterday was the Pittsburgh Pro, and we had a great guest posing. I love the Pittsburgh Pro. I love the guest posing because I'm a huge fan of the guys and their off-season shape and how big they can get and how much mass monsters they become. It's fantastic. But they had a couple of guys that were a week out. Martin Fitzwater and Nick Walker were a week out of New York Pro, and they were guest posing. It was pretty cool. Had a couple of classic physique guys that were guest posing. That was pretty cool. But before we get to that, I was on a great podcast this weekend. It was released this morning. The girl's name is Dr. Lisa Alastewy. I don't know. I'm probably butchering her name because I ruin everybody's last name. Her last name is Alastuey. That's her podcast, and she interviews a lot of bodybuilders. It turned out to be a really, really good interview. She's a great podcast host. So I'm going to put the description in the link below where you can go click, and then please go watch yours truly. Like, share, subscribe to her stuff because she brings really, really good content. She actually interviewed Lee Priest right before me, but of course mine's better. But anyway, you get to see Lee Priest and then me. Anyway, Pittsburgh Pro was let out. So why don't we just take a couple of pictures? Why don't we just look at a couple of pictures? I can't speak English today. And see exactly what everybody is talking about. So here we go. Oh, that's not the oh boy, that's not the New York Pro. That's not the Pittsburgh Pro. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put that up there. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Anyway. All right. Okay, so let's see some of the guest poses. Okay, right off the bat. All right, the first person that everybody's talking about is Nick Walker, okay? So Nick Walker, as we could see, had a little bit of a distension, actually pretty much of a distension. For 1 week out, we weren't as impressed as we thought we would be because we haven't seen him in quite a bit. He was injured during the Olympia. We wanted to see him come back on stage and kind of like, kill it and whatever. But, we got to remember, this is a week out. I know it seems to be only a week out, but a week means a lot. Okay. He's still got to pull a lot of water. He looks huge. We thought he would be a little harder. He will probably control his stomach better on stage at the New York Pro. He probably was just having fun and not really controlling his waist like he normally should. That being said, it was distended. Now, Nick isn't a stupid guy, okay? He knows that if it continues in this way, he's going to have to do something about it because he's going to get penalized if his stomach continues this way. I mean, when he sits right here, right? And he, yeah, that's, it is what it is. Look, man, he knows he's not a stupid guy. But the problem is when you put him up against Martin Fitzwater, who was 1 week out, who looked phenomenal. I mean, to me, he was the most impressive one on stage because he was a week out. And look how small his waist is. He looked incredible. And he's trying to make a statement because he's going to be in the deepest lineup he's ever been in a week. So he definitely created some buzz because this guy really looks good for a week out. He had the small waist. He did not look small on stage compared to the other guys. He looked like he had just as much muscle. Obviously, the guys are bigger because it's their off season. But what I'm saying is for a week out, it wasn't like they dwarfed him on stage. He was really impressive, and his rear double bi was impressive. His back was impressive. He was in shape. Now, will he be able to beat Nick Walker next week? I don't know because a week means a lot in bodybuilding. It's a lot of water you pull out in 1 week. So I am going to give Martin Fitzwater a little bit more of a benefit of the doubt. I think he will do much better than we thought going up against the guys like a Tony Burton or a Beef Stew or Quentin Beastwood because he looked relatively impressive. Now, to me, my opinion, This is just my opinion. The most impressive guy was Derek, because Derek is he's just, when he walks out, look at his legs. Look at the size of this guy's legs. I mean, this guy's legs. People aren't talking about him as much because we're kind of used to how massive he is now. But look at his leg. And look how small his waist is. And what the best part is, he's deep, deep, deep into his off season, and you still see separation in his legs. And when he turns around, you could still see striations in his glutes. And that's impressive for a guy that is this deep into his off season and put this much size on. Looked like he put even more size on from last year. I just want to wait till he turns around, and you can actually see that the guy still has striated glutes this deep into his off season, right? It was really impressive. This whole thing that they do, the Jim Mannion Pittsburgh Pro, is fantastic. This whole guest posting thing, I love it. It's maybe one day I'll get there. It's not too far, Pittsburgh, from, well, yeah, I guess if I drive it, but I would take a short plane ride. But anyway, here, look at that. He still has striations in his glutes. I mean, that's impressive for a guy that deep in his offseason and with that much size on, right? All right, the other guy everybody's talking about is Andrew Jacked. Now, he obviously did his homework during the offseason, and he put some size on. He looked huge, right? Because he's very tall, clearly well over 300 pounds, as far as I can see. We have to see what he looks like when he diets down, because he still looks like, compared to the other guys, because he's so tall, still his arms still look a little bit lanky compared to the other guys, right? Normally they wouldn't look that lanky, but when you have him on stage next to Nick Walker and Derek and the guys with the biggest arms in bodybuilding, it kind of exposes it a little bit. But he looks like he did his homework this offseason and put some serious size on. He looked great for being in his offseason. He wasn't fat and out of shape. He was still relatively conditioned for being in his offseason. And it looked like we're going to see good things from him in the future. Now, the other guy we are going to talk about will be Hunter Labrada. Hunter Labrada is not getting as much hype as normal because he's one of those guys that you kind of don't appreciate as much on his offseason as you do when he is in shape. But he still looked massive. He's clearly putting on some quality size. He's still in shape for somebody who is in his offseason. So we will probably see great things from him too. You put any one of these guys in a normal show, a Chicago Pro, a Cali Pro, a Tampa Pro, and they win, right? These are the best guys in the world. So it's when you put them in the Olympia, everybody wants to see how they compare to each other, right? And of course, my favorite, everybody knows he's my favorite, Samson. Nobody talked about Samson because Samson at this point is Samson. He's massive. He's big. He's a great poser. After this, we probably won't see much of him because I'm sure he's going to go to Oxygen Gym in Kuwait. And we are going to see probably a better version, I would guess, a better version of Samson at the Olympia. And if that is the case, then everybody on that stage needs to be scared because he will have zero distractions in Kuwait. Zero. He will be training, dieting, and getting in shape for the Olympia. And I think that's what he needs to break into the elite category, which he's already in elite category. We're talking about better than the top three, to bring what he needs to beat a guy like Hadi, or dare I say, Derek. And we know that if he's going to go there, that means he means business, because that means I'm pretty sure his wife can't go there. He's going to be there by himself. And the people that are putting him in that position in Kuwait aren't going to take any nonsense. They want him to look great. Do we see anybody else? The joke of the day was the classic guys. I mean, they look so small compared to I mean, they look phenomenal. They're great athletes, but they look so small compared to the open guys. But let's see that. Oh no, what was that other one that I looked at the other day? Oh, what the hell is it? Oh my good, that's terrible. Who put that? Stop looking at things like that. That's disgusting. You guys are fucked up. You guys got problems. Like, share, and subscribe. And I will be at the New York Pro, most likely the night show next week, because I think they're in the morning. I have things to do. I got business. Oh. All right, guys. Like, share, subscribe, and I will see you soon. Later. Peace.